We just saw Don't Worry, Darling. Now, before we continue, it's just me and Mud today, by the way.
Hello.
Before we continue, this is as spoiler as it gets. We are talking to you as if you've seen it because there's no way.
There's no way we could talk about this film.
No
and you
shot.
guys know at this point we do spoiler reviews
we
on
do.
this channel.
So this is a mega spoiler. Please, dear God, go see this movie so you can hear us talk about it. We have so much to say. So why don't you get us started?
Holy shit. Okay, so how do I... You guys know our Serenity review, right? If you don't, go check it out.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same movie.
Yep.
I'm not even kidding. The plot twist is the exact same. So it starts Florence Pugh and Harry Styles, and they're trapped, quote, quote, in this like perfect 50s suburban area, which is kind of based on real life. There were a lot of utopian districts, and
Sure.
I was pretty intrigued by that. There's a lot of mystery and intrigue. Florence Pugh's character keeps seeing things, and she's imagining things. And the world is strange, and her friend kills herself. Now, it's a mystery film.
Yep.
And there is no mystery.
There's none, no.
In the sense that there's no scenes of Florence Pugh's character really investigating things. The most she does is steals a document from her doctor, which is the most blatantly, like, out there document.
Yep. It literally says, what is it, like secret files?
Secret file. Then she opens it, and it's just completely blacked out.
Yeah, it's spoilers.
Literally, the entire thing is blacked out, so
does
she just
nothing.
burns it. And there are these guys in red suits who walk around and, like, patrol things. Sometimes they're not always there, but they come when things are getting weird.
Bro, the red suit, man.
And every time Florence Pugh almost finds something out, she just wakes up at home.
Yep.
So there are so many questions, and the answer is
don't think about it.
No. The actual answer, because we need to lay this groundwork.
Sure.
The actual answer is she's in a simulation, created by Chris Pine's character and sold to like unhappy couples. And it's like these little machines that go on your eyes and just project you into this world, I guess. Yep. But Jack, Harry Styles' character, her husband, quote unquote, has to go back into the real world to work, which is why he disappears all day. And I can't even begin to explain why that is a horrible, horrible explanation for what happens in this film. Yep. Because it's nothing but plot holes after that.
I know. That basic premise lays the groundwork for what's going to just completely fall apart when everything's revealed.
As we were discussing this just now, while I was explaining, you brought up the secret file, and in my mind, I was like, why does he have a file labeled secret file if none of this is real?
So much of what...
And it's also just blacked out.
So much information about what you just said needs to be really contextualized with, it is all a simulated video game experience.
Yeah, it's like a cross between The Matrix and Serenity.
Yeah.
The only difference is in Serenity, everyone's a video game character. In Don't Worry, Darling, everyone is it is understood that at least all of the residents, maybe not the red suits, we'll talk about them, but all of the residents are real living people in the real world wearing little projectors on their face and just having a grand old time in fucking Don't Worry, Darling art online.
And is an important part of this movie to point out that if you die in the game, you die in real life.
Which is established at the end of the film.
Now, in other properties, let's say the most obvious is The Matrix, where it does this, there's narrative reason and purpose, and it adds stakes. In this, it doesn't add any fucking stakes, because who cares about it anyway? But more importantly, why the fuck would you do that for a commercial video game that you're trying to get?
I don't even think it's a video. I don't know what it is. I can't say it's a video game.
It's a service.
It's a simulation. Yeah, but you're right. In The Matrix, at least like that spike is in the back of their head. They're just wearing little C-shaped chips on their eyes. And then I have another question.
Yep.
Because Jack's character explicitly says that the men have to leave and go work to provide. Are they working for Frank?
No, because when they go to work, they leave through the portal.
Yeah.
And they go into the real world.
But like Jack's character, so the reason they're in this simulation is because Jack's character in the real world was an incel.
Yep, sure.
Like greasy hair, glasses, poor skin.
The whole nine, yep.
You know. Right? Porous skin, I'm sorry. And they explicitly make it clear that Jack's character is struggling to find a job.
Yep.
So if he's not working for Frank, that means he just eventually found a job.
Off camera, yep.
Off camera, which solves the problem of Florence Pugh and Harry Styles' relationship.
More importantly, she was working 30-hour shifts
She's
as a doctor. As a literal doctor, one of the highest paying jobs there is. She's working jobs, so many hours to do that overnight, over day, over everything.
And we want to be clear. She is not a nurse. They explicitly refer to her as a doctor.
Yep. Meanwhile, that's the exact same scene where he says, "Oh, I don't have a job," or whatever, which means that she is the sole income provider, and I bet your ass it's good income.
Yeah.
Bet your ass is good. And on top of that, too, his solution to him not having a job and her having, like, one of the best fucking jobs ever. Oh, it's like a shitty job. You gotta, work a lot. But, like, one of the highest paying jobs you have is to take her out of the real life where she can no longer work her high-paying job, put her into this game forever, it seems like, and then himself visit the game, but then go out and work the job he doesn't have. Like, what?
And then it gets better because this is in the trailer. All of the women there have one of 3 backstories.
Yes.
There are dozens of people in this simulation. Now, they have to have fake backstories because it's the 50s and the film is actually set in the modern day. Fucking twist of the century.
Oh, boy.
I could tell that from the fucking trailer.
Same.
I'm like, this film's seriously set in the modern day.
Oh,
but that's not the point. The point is, why do you only have 3 backstories if you have dozens of people being held hostage here? And the film is so clear about the fact that the women don't get to leave. The wives do not get to leave. So all they do is they sit around and they talk to each other.
They talk about their lives.
And it's like, how do you not see? How do you not see how this would fall apart? You have probably like 70 plus people here with 3 backstories.
3.
One is a coincidence. Like one pair.
Yep.
So 2 people having the same backstory, that's a coincidence. 3, that's weird. 4, done.
Yeah, game over. Literally.
Game over. Is it a video game? I don't understand. I think it's just
it's just a service.
It's VR chat.
Yes, but it puts your mind in there like every Black Mirror episode ever made, and it puts you in, but if you die in the game, you die in real life, which has to be a deliberate choice. There's no way it's a byproduct, because in every single simulation ever made, if you die, you just either, start over.
It doesn't make any fucking sense. There's so many things in this film that just are there to throw you off. Like, okay, there's a character named Margaret who wandered out into the desert with her son. And his son was holding a red plane.
Yep.
And then the son disappeared. We later on find out the children aren't real. So why not just give the son back?
Yep. To keep her docile.
That's
what you're trying to do.
She's so traumatized over losing her son. Doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
2, then Florence Pugh's character, this is what kicks the film off, people, is she sees a plane fly overhead, and the plane does a warble, like it passed through a fucking barrier in a film, like in fucking Wakanda where they go through the barriers.
Yeah, so
you
that
know what I'm talking about? Like, she
lets
passed
you
through
think,
a ray shield, and you're like, oh, it's a simulation, like there's something up. No, it's just a video game. So then the question becomes, why was there a plane?
There, no reason. So that bubble, I'm going to guess that simulation bubble is only there for what you're saying, which is to make us, the audience, think, oh, it's a Wakanda bubble. Where you can go through it and it's nothing, right? Like something like that.
Yeah.
So there's no story reason for this. Like, in the context of the world, there is no narrative purpose for that at all.
She also sees visions in mirrors sometimes.
Sure.
There's no narrative reason for that.
None.
There's nothing. Like, she sees Margaret in a mirror and she smashes the mirror.
I get it.
And it's like, what does that mean?
If you're on the precipice of logging out, you could say it's like a dreamlike state. Okay, let's say things happen weirdly around you. Sure. But why do you see Margaret?
Yeah.
Like, what's up with that?
Okay, one of the things they use is this hypnotic pattern of ballerinas dancing in the shape of an eye.
Yep.
That's what's supposed to lull you into the world. And I swear to God, sometimes they have weird faces. Most of the time they don't, but sometimes they do.
Yep.
And there's no explanation.
There's none.
Although this just did make me realize one interesting thing. Do you remember when they took Margaret away from the party and her husband shut the curtain and we both thought we saw a face in the curtain?
Yep.
That was Harry Styles' face.
Sure.
Because they're laying right next to each other and she's looking at him. So she briefly broke through. That's the one, oh, that was pretty neat.
Okay.
It still doesn't justify this pile of shit.
Right, because he had a beard. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he had a beard. Yeah.
But
that doesn't matter, though.
Wait a minute. At that point in the script, had she gone out to the barrier yet?
No.
Then she's having these breaks before she went to headquarters where she had the breaks?
Yes.
So she's oh, man.
And why does Jack leave? And then why does Frank, Chris Pine's character, just watch him finger bang her?
I don't. Oh, bro. Bro, you want to talk about Jack and what he does? All right, so at the end of the movie...
let's talk about this.
Towards the end of the movie, I should say, when she's like, let's leave, because, again, I'm talking to you, the audience, as if you've seen it. There's the scene where she's like, honey, something's wrong, let's leave, and Jack's like, okay, and they pack the car. 10 minutes go by, and Harry Styles is like, I'm so sorry, or whatever, and she gets taken away by the people. That establishes that in 10 minutes, those people can be there. Then in the real world, not in the game, in the real world, she gets that like shock therapy, rewire her brain, all that shit. She's put back in. Okay, now at the end of the movie, when she's breaking out again, she knocks him, or kills him, sorry, flat out murders him.
She murders him.
Then she knocks out herself for no reason, then wakes up, and Olivia Wilde's there. Let's say it's been like 10 seconds. And, you know, Olivia Wilde's like, hey, I know everything, or whatever. But you need to leave this world right now, or they will find you in real life. And way more time passes. And I don't get why sorry, there's so much happening. I'm trying to articulate it. So first of all, she's doomed because already 10 minutes has gone by. They would be in her room.
They know where she lives.
They know where she lives. They've been there before. They abduct her. They do experiments on her and shit. There's no hope, basically. But the movie's pretending like there's hope. But more importantly, these side characters, these NPCs, the red suit guys, which we'll talk about them in a minute, whether or not they're NPCs or not. But let's say they are. Why the fuck would they bind themselves by the game's own real world rules? Like, why wouldn't they? Any game ever made, you as the creator can just click the God mode button and just be anywhere or
literally
spawn
hit
anywhere.
creative mode.
Hit creative mode. Chris Pine is the dude running the show, right? So why do they rely on like 1950s fucking cars, like to car chase down Nevada fake desert? I don't. Like, what was any of that?
And why?
And then, so, sorry, I have so much.
No, it's fine.
When they're going she's going to the headquarters, right? She's driving to the headquarters. She's on both sides by the dudes in cars. From the headquarters direction, the dude with glasses who helps Chris Pine. The doctor guy. He's coming after her as if he's from the headquarters. So was he like the only guy in all of the headquarters?
Did he just log in?
If you log in and appear at the headquarters, why doesn't Chris Pine log out and log in? He's at the headquarters already. Like,
no, he was at his house when that was happening.
So he could have logged out and logged back in. Like,
does he have admin privileges?
Why doesn't he? He's
and
the
then
admin.
And then his wife stabs him, and she's like, "It's my turn now." And it's like, who the fuck? Why the fuck?
She got one scene to talk.
Yeah. And then there's also the scene where Chris Pine's like, "I've been waiting for someone to challenge me like you." What do you mean challenge?
Why?
What is this?
Why does he need a
what
challenge?
What is any of this? What is she challenging?
I know.
There's almost something in here about sexism.
Mm-hmm.
Almost.
There's trying to be.
It's trying to be because they're all like, yeah, women, you stay at home and support us. And they're literally just wasting away in the beds in home. Which, again, if Florence Pugh is just asleep in a bed 24/7.
Okay.
I wish this film had ended with, like, emaciated Florence Pugh because she hasn't been eating or drinking.
Not even so much as an IV strip. Nothing. She's just laying in bed.
She's just laying there. She should be dead.
Mm-hmm. And we clearly see that this passes in real time, just like the real world. So she's spent like weeks or months or longer in there, which means that her body is just not woken up.
It's very clear that they've been here for some time.
Does she shit? Does she?
What about her friends and family? Like, aren't they concerned that they haven't seen her in a while?
I know.
She's a doctor.
She's a literal doctor. She must have serious like family or connections.
It doesn't make any sense.
So Jack wants to abduct her and put her in the game against her will without her knowing. He can't feasibly pull that off more than like a day. Maybe. Like, even then, there's going to be issues.
It makes no sense. This film makes no sense,
The more you think about it,
like,
the more
there's
it
so
breaks
many
down.
things that happen, like when the wall, like, crushes her for a second. What was the point of that?
Was that, like, okay, let's play pretend. Let's say Chris Pine was doing that to fuck with her. Why? What was the point?
I want someone to challenge me. Challenge you for what?
Also,
what are you doing here? He's like, we're moving forward to the future. What future? What is the purpose of this technology?
Right. And let's say that Chris Pine was doing that for some reason, whatever it is. Okay, it's established that he can fuck with the world, but he lets her run away and he seems really concerned when he runs away.
And they're like, you know, the future, it's bright. We're going to make ourselves the way we want to be. It's like, bro, you're playing VR chat.
You're literally playing VR chat.
How does this accomplish what you want to do?
None of it.
There's no scene. There's one scene where Florence Pugh confronts Chris Pine's character at a dinner and, like, she just doesn't bring up anything that a normal human should bring up.
Nope.
Like, what about the red suit guys? Can
Yeah.
we talk about them? Are they okay? We're talking about the red suit guys.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
There are a bunch of like people who patrol the simulation. Like, what's that one? Fucking Westworld.
Okay.
I don't know why I blanked on that. Like in Westworld, like all those guys, the fucking robot people.
Yep.
They pause them, they come in, they clean up, right?
Yep.
That's a thing in Westworld.
Sure.
They're but like, are they employees? Are they NPCs? If they're NPCs, why do you have to go in and physically restrain Florence Pugh's character?
I know.
Why
None
do you
of
have
that.
to? Why can't you just like fucking wipe it out?
Mm-hmm. You could just delete.
Delete it. Press
Start
that
over.
delete key, homie.
I know. It's all a game, so it abides by the rules of a game.
It's established to be in a computer simulation, but you're not acting like it's the same thing with Serenity. If this is a computer simulation, why are you acting like this has real stakes?
I know. None of it matters and none of it makes sense. It doesn't abide by any clearly defined stakes or rules.
You can think of any amazing plot twist in cinema. And the reason they are amazing plot twists is because if you reflect back on the film, there is not a single scene in the film that breaks the logic of the plot twist.
Yep.
Psycho, The Matrix, Fight Club. Beautiful films, beautiful plot twists.
Yep.
And you rewatch those films, nothing breaks the canon.
Nothing.
Nothing breaks
If
the canon.
anything, in those cases like Psycho or The Matrix or even like especially Sixth Sense or Fight Club, like the twists enhance and make you want to go back.
They answer the mystery.
They answer the mystery to the point where you can now reflect on scenes you already liked and can see them in a new light.
There's no scene in this film where Florence Pugh's character actively searches for information.
None.
There's none. She's just always at home or always talking to people. She never like goes to the doctor's office to try to get the original FIO that was all blacked out. Never tries to like seduce Frank for information or try to follow one of those red suit guys to see where they go.
Let's go
It's
back into the
nothing.
red suit guys because I have a little bit more on them. So we just said earlier we don't know if they're NPCs or players or whatever.
They don't. Yeah.
So they aren't visible in the world unless there is a problem, which makes me think that they are spawned in when there's a problem. Okay, let's say that's the case. If they can spawn in when there's a problem, why don't they choose where they spawn? Why do they randomly
They
fucking
always
spawn?
approach from like
The
far
sides.
away. Yeah.
And if she's running into the desert, why don't they spawn around her? They're like in the 50s cars driving up to her or whatever. And also, not for nothing, but they all have different actors. So they all have different like races and skin tones and shit and hair color and whatever, which means they're probably people playing the game. Which, are you an employee? Do people hire like people to
Again, it's back to the Frank thing. Like, does Frank actually employ these guys? Does he pay them? Because if it's not Frank employing Jack and Jack just has a job, I can't stress this enough, there's no conflict. There's no reason for him to do this because eventually he just found a job and his girlfriend, and I can't stress this part enough, is a doctor,
And also,
a surgeon.
I want to talk
She
more
stitches
about that.
people up.
I want
That's
to I want to talk more about the financial situation because
yeah.
how many people were it total in the game? What, like 30, 40?
More?
More like 50?
Who knows?
Okay.
I think for some reason I want to say 72.
Let's say 72 people are in that
I
game.
think no. I think that's how many were mentioned as playing
Awesome.
when Jack started.
Awesome. So, okay.
So 74 because there's at least one couple that joins.
Sure. Okay.
That
so
also goes nowhere.
Whatever the cost is to play this game, whether it's monthly or whatever that cost is, that cost times 72 is not going to be viable financially to hire a shitload of those red suit guys and also keep the engines running and the servers running and all this
he's
technology.
all like, we're the future, we're the world of tomorrow. My brother in Christ, what are you doing?
How are you doing it?
And here's my favorite one. There are earthquakes in the simulation, right? There are earthquakes in the simulation.
Yep.
And I don't know why.
Nope.
I guess it's to imply that the men are working on something because there's like one line where the woman's like, well, at least we know they're working on something. But that doesn't track.
Reflecting now that she said that, the one person who knows and is in on it,
No, I think it was the pregnant one. I don't remember.
No, it was Olivia Wilde, who's
Was
like,
it?
actually, this
I guess.
So
But-
she's saying that to pacify the women around her because she doesn't want anybody to know about anything. But why wouldn't she just? What's the problem with being honest with these people around you, and then the ones that stay, and then there's no conflict and no risk of a breakout?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But more importantly, the Tremors thing is completely unnecessary
Sure.
because everyone's like, oh, at least we know they're working. Whew. fucking cares?
Yeah, because it doesn't
Because
pay off.
Florence Pugh still grows suspicious of her husband anyways because they work on progressive materials and he's a fucking technology engineer.
Yeah.
Like, just nothing. Just nonsense words, you know?
It's absolute chaos, and it's really weird to me because if you look at like those tremors, like you're saying, those happen at several points throughout the movie, especially in the
And it's a shared experience.
Yeah, shared experience in the first 2/3 of the movie. Okay, so if you're watching the movie, that is a recurring motif or theme that you can.
It is
look
established.
For. Yep, and you, as
and
the audience,
reinforced.
are trained to look for answers as to why that happens, and you know by that third act, there's gonna be some resolution for it.
No.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Like, what the fuck
Like, what is the
point
point of setting it up if you're just going to explain it away? Because I'm left to imply that they're in there to trick the girls into thinking that their husbands are working on something.
Yep.
That's my implication. But this is a mystery thriller film.
Yep.
And you're not giving me answers to the mysteries of the film.
I know.
Why was there a red plane?
What? Okay.
What is the significance of the red plane?
Because the boy, okay, so the simulated boy that isn't real had the red plane. When she walked out, he had like a little toy red plane.
Yeah.
Then that's reestablished later,
When
kind of.
the fucking plane
with
flies
the force
overhead.
fields that wasn't even a real fucking force field that it wiggled through and then it crashed but had no actual explosion, which was weird to me. I thought.
I also noted that.
Hey, did it go into the mountain? It's like a simulated mountain or something like that, whatever. But like, those things, those details don't get answered. And if you're building the game, why did you build in a plane to lead her
Did
out?
Chris Pine like intentionally want her to challenge him? Because that's not why. What is there to gain?
I know, and we're making up like, hey, maybe he did that on purpose.
We are inferring. Like, fuck me, dude. And and you know what else? I'm not done.
Okay.
They establish a new wife in the narrative.
Okay.
Her name's Violet. She just got here, and she's like super nervous all the time, right?
Yep.
It goes nowhere.
It doesn't.
It goes nowhere.
It doesn't do anything.
Like, Florence Pugh's character doesn't free anyone else from the simulation.
You'd figure like
Everyone's just left like standing around. And at the end of the film, no, I'm not done. At the end of the film, when Florence escapes, all the lights around her burst. Why? Why does this happen?
I know.
It's not like the simulation's breaking.
You'd figure that Violet's character being there would establish the next cycle of the girl that goes crazy because the world is fucked up, right?
Yes.
So after, like, let's say Florence Pugh were to die or something, she's now the next Margaret or Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
Like, you'd establish that. But they didn't do anything with it.
They don't. And then, like, I also thought, so there's like one flashback where like Florence Pugh's like petting someone's head, and it's established to be Harry Styles' head. But Violet explicitly has very short hair. Every other woman in the simulation has 1950s long hair.
Yep.
Violet doesn't. Violet is an anachronism.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought for half a second when we see like Florence Pugh petting someone's head, I was like, Violet and Alice were abducted. They're lesbians. That's why they feel a connection to each other. Because Florence Pugh's character is like eyeing Violet down. Like, who the fuck? Like, I know this bitch.
Yep.
She's a useless character.
She does nothing.
She contributes nothing.
Nothing at all.
She's not like someone to be rescued. She's not someone to confide in. She's not.
Imagine you're Harry Styles, right? Or you're not the actor Harry Styles. Let's say you're Jack. In the real world, you're that weird incel guy with the beard and the glasses, and you're American and all that stuff. Okay, so you're dating this girl. You just lost your job for whatever reason, probably because you frequent
Probably
Reddit.
because you don't shower.
Probably because you don't shower at all and you're slimy. But your girlfriend, implied, I don't know if they're married.
I think it was implied to be girlfriend.
Sure, your girlfriend is out working 30-hour shifts
as a surgeon. Not just a doctor, but a surgeon.
As a surgeon saving lives, stitching people up. She said that. She's saving lives, coming home, barely getting any sleep, going right back out into the fray. She is doing literally like God's workout. She's helping everybody.
And when she gets home,
your first inclination is to try to make her have sex with you.
And also complain that you haven't eaten yet because she didn't respond to your text about what you want to eat.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just going to toss this one out there, buddy. Here's some free advice to you.
Uh-huh.
If your girlfriend is working a 30-hour shift, maybe, just maybe, this is a wild idea, but follow me on this. Maybe buy her something to eat when she gets home so that she doesn't have to worry about making something or getting something. Or even better, why don't you make something?
Or if you're too much of a shithead to do any of those things you just said, at least like a, hey, I miss you. I know you're working hard, but I love you. A text. Something. anything, saying, "Hey, you're doing excellent."
Instead of let's get fucking busy.
Let's
like,
get
dude,
fucking
get over
busy.
it. Go get some fucking Kleenex and some
Both you
fucking-
and her are sweaty and gross and sad.
You're way sweatier than her.
You're way sweatier than, even though she's worked 30 hours and you're
go
not.
get some Vaseline and some Kleenex, bro. Like,
Yeah.
let her be.
Like, come on. And also, the point in which that scene is shown as a flashback, I think could have happened a little bit sooner. It happened really late in the game to the point where, like, we were just, like, spinning. Our heads were like, what the fuck's happening?
Yeah.
And it happens, like, literally in the third act.
It
like,
is.
this random fucking flashback.
And then, after that flashback, and after she has, and we cannot stress this enough, murdered Jack, right before she leaves, she has a digital hallucination of him wrapping his arms around her and going, don't leave me. And it's like, no.
Nope.
No.
So was that, like, their shock therapy Jack in her brain? But how could they do that with shock
How
therapy?
how does she still love him?
I don't understand that at all.
It's so fucking.
None of it tracks.
It doesn't make any sense.
Why are they together?
Why didn't they break up? So when Jack goes to, like, put her in the dream.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
His hair's grown out.
Yep.
And when he's applying, they're like, do you have a previous relationship with the woman you've decided will be your wife?
Yep.
And he goes, yes. He doesn't say that it's a current relationship. And I thought, oh, they broke up. And he's going to go, like, break into her room and, like, fucking kidnap her, right?
Sure, yeah.
No, he has a key. So they're still together.
They're still together, yep.
They're still together. And, like, fuck, dude. And, like, she's always, like, scratching her eye. And I'm like, there's definitely something, like, in her face. And, like, there's going to be, like, a cool, like, scene where she, like, cuts it out in the mirror. No.
Yep.
It's because she's got the little fucking peepers on. Also, they hold her eyes open. So those things are probably gone.
Yep. Easily.
And there's red light scanning over them. Your eyes are done.
Yeah.
You're probably emaciated. Like,
how does, like, a very tiny little piece of, like, something the size of, like, contemporary reading glasses, how does that transport your consciousness
well, you see,
into a
it's
VR?
on the face.
Ah.
And the face is in front of the brain.
As long as you stare
And then
at
when you-
5 lights up ahead.
And then when you die, a little fucking cow poker comes out like it's No Country for Old Men and just dink
Yep.
right in the fucking
Yeah,
frontal
if you
cortex.
die in the game, it's
you
like
die in real life.
definitely it's like it's gotta be intentional, that programming. Like, oh yeah, we want them to die in real life if they die in the game.
Die in the
Because why the
game.
fuck wouldn't you?
If you die in the game, you die in real life. Fuck it, I can't.
Bro.
Like, come on. It's just
None of it tracks.
none of it tracks and none of it is foreshadowed.
Nope.
The best I can give is that half a frame where you can see Harry Styles' face in a window. And even then, that doesn't mean anything because she also sees weird visions of fucking ballerinas
I know.
and,
Oh my
and
God.
things moving in reverse.
Bro.
Why were there bubbles going into her mouth?
What is the significance of the ballerinas? Because think back through the movie. But usually when she hallucinates, she sees those ballerinas doing weird shit. Also, she and those other girls, a lot of the wives, do just ballerina work in general. Okay, so is she taking this career of ballerina, which is not her career in the real world, and warping it with a dream into the ballerinas in the shape of the eye?
Over the course of the film, I was whispering to you my theories.
Yes.
I was like, all right, all the women here are enslaved for, like, breeding.
Yep.
'Cause,
Yep.
Again, the film's pretty sexist, but I think that's on purpose to try to say something about sexism. Doesn't really. Right? I said that.
You said, okay, let me put it this way. For the audience listening, he shot out like 10 or 15 theories over the course.
To be
he got
fair-
like a third right.
To be fair, not all, they didn't contradict. They were all building on top of each other. I was like, they're all being held here against their will. They've all obviously had their personalities rewritten. The film's set in the modern day. There's something in her face. It's half right on that one.
Yep.
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Modern day seemed pretty obvious. to
That
me.
one's just
from the trailer. You were
yeah.
right about that. Like, it's just so.
It's just so clear.
I would be more impressed if it was actually set in the 50s.
That would have been more impressive, yeah.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I never once, and you said this to me, I never once speculated on what the ballerinas were. Because the film gives you nothing to work on with that.
I even told you, like, 2/3 through, I was like, oh, the ballerinas actually meant cool visuals.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Like with the mirror stuff, I was like, they're watching her through the mirrors, like in Bad Times at the El Royale.
Except they kind of.
They
don't
aren't.
at
I
all.
was wrong about that one. Like you said, I wasn't right about everything.
No.
But like,
I don't blame you because what you're saying would have made more sense.
But like my point is, like with Margaret in the mirror and like the fact that her face doesn't track with the mirror sometimes, like I was doing my best.
Yep.
You know, but I at least fired and missed on that one.
Sure. Yeah.
But ballerinas, I literally had nothing. I was like, I don't know. Most of the time they're normal, but sometimes they have a weird face. And it's like, I get that they're like spinning in the image above her, but is she coming back to consciousness just enough to see what's above her? Why is she coming back to consciousness? It seems kind of arbitrary when that happens. And then one of the dancers in to place this like singer on the night that Harry Styles' character gets his big promotion is one of the ballerinas.
Mm-hmm.
But the ballerinas exist in the real world.
Yep.
So are you telling me that those ballerinas are AI that was programmed to dance like that for a hypnotic pattern and then he just reused one of the skins?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you telling me those are real ballerinas and he just copy pasted one of them into his video game? And then when she gets electrotherapied, which probably happens in the real world, there's 2 platinum blonde candy shop ballerina girls there working with the doctor.
Yep.
So if it's in the real world, why do they look like they're from the 1950s?
I assume that scene where she's getting operated on, and again, there's a lot of I assumes in here, but I thought when she's getting operated on, she was like hallucinating. But she only hallucinates in the game. She doesn't hallucinate in the real world, so that we've seen. So does it leave a residual self-image from the Matrix? Does it leave like some type of thing in your brain? Because boy, would that have been cool to, I don't know, see it all.
I think we have completely run the gambit on everything wrong with this film. Oh, and at the end of the film, Chris Pine gets stabbed by his wife, and she's like, I guess I'll take over.
Yeah.
Cool, okay, bye.
That was great. She had like, I said it earlier, but
she had a scene.
She had a scene where she talked earlier, and that's it. Like, there's no establishment of this at all prior. And you can say, oh, well, that's because it's a twist. Well, okay, the most effective twists are foreshadowed in some way. Nothing.
Why does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
And she's like, you messed up. She's getting, fuck, who cares?
Ready? If you cut that out of the movie, that one clip, the movie is identical. Nothing
ends
changes.
The same.
It ends the exact same with no things different at all. There's no...
I think we're done. I'm done. I've said my piece.
It's so painful.
It's so bad.
Honestly, I literally could just sit in this room and just talk about things that are wrong with this movie all night.
I could too, but
I could feasibly do that.
I could do that, but we gotta.
Yeah, we should probably,
Let's call it. So out of 10.
Wow.
I know. I just thought of that. I'm like, I don't have a number.
Let me really sit on that because like there's a lot flowing through my brain.
It's not good. I think we've made it very clear this film's not good. The acting's fine. The set direction's okay. The sound design terrible.
Oh yeah, the sound.
She crushes an egg. And
the sounds of the eggs being crushed.
She crushes nonsense. A hollow egg. Why are the eggs hollow,
bro?
If it's a simulation.
Yeah, the rest of the food is real.
Why did you program in a hollow egg?
And more importantly, she's making real food with eggs in the video game. She's making food.
She's making food for herself to eat that includes eggs. She makes eggs for breakfast. Mm-hmm. You make that very clear.
Yep.
But why are the eggs hollow?
Bro, that doesn't even...
It doesn't track. It doesn't track.
Wow. Okay. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of good parts. The actors are very attractive.
I don't know, man. Nick Kroll's in this.
Oh, I'd fuck the shit out of Nick Kroll. I would say, and I really like that bit where Nick Kroll towards the end is like, "Shut up, Bill."
That was really funny.
That was real good.
It was a good delivery. Shut up, Bill.
It was so good. I would say that this. Oh, man, it's so tough. All right, 1 out of 10. That one is the enjoyment had by watching it. Like, as if I'm being beaten to a pulp. I'm inclined to give it a 2. You know what? I'm going to amend that. 2 out of 10. Both those points are just the sheer what the fuck of watching this movie.
See, I kind of want to give it a 2 out of 10 as well. But I don't agree with you that there's any enjoyment to be had in this film. I had a great time in the first half because I like the aesthetic of the world. I like the building mystery. And then like we hit the hour mark and I was like, wow, she hasn't investigated shit.
Yeah, but like the enjoyment that I'm talking about is the Serenity level enjoyment of like,
that's
wow,
fine.
This movie is
I
happening.
fucking hate Serenity.
The fact, like, I left that movie, the first thing I said walking out of the theater was they filmed that and put that in theaters.
I feel that about this.
Yeah,
I'm at a loss for words.
It's tough.
Can't believe that this film exists
it's
in the
real.
year of our Lord 2022.
I kind of want to watch it again.
I don't.
I mean, I don't know what context, whether it's dealer's choice or recreationally.
I am expecting it to pop up on dealer's choice eventually.
One of us is going to torture the others with it, yeah.
It's going to be a Serenity anniversary, and it's like, why not watch Serenity again? We're watching Don't Worry, Darling.
It basically is.
I hate it. I had semi-high hopes. I don't care about the production drama. I don't give a shit about that. I like the trailer. I thought it looked neat. It wasn't neat.
I had the reverse effect. I thought the trailer was boring as hell, but then the production notes made me go out and buy a ticket for it. It was like, what the hell could have possibly happened? And it was pretty non-exciting.
Turns
movie.
out Florence Pugh was in a simulation.
Yeah, I guess so. Very
so,
exciting.
Yeah, 2 out of 10. Go see this film if you want. It's a good.
If you have AMC A-list and you already don't pay for it, you should go see this. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's what
might
we
as
did.
well.
But
Might as well slump it in there with the other tickets.
I wouldn't expend $15 in a night
don't,
off.
Don't pay for the matinee price at best, people.
Yeah, come on. All right, well, worry, darling, but don't.